Hey, it's time for TV Skywriter. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to TV Skywriter. I'm smiling. I can't help it. My niece is my guest. But let me go on. Let me soldier on. I'm Patricia A. Murray. I publish the Durham Skywriter. That's Durham, North Carolina's online community paper. And I also host TV Skywriter, which is what you're watching now. Usually it's on Sundays, but today I'm doing it on a Wednesday. Basically, I do TV Skywriter, what I call local edition, on weekdays, and that is usually for local people here in Durham, Raleigh, Hillsborough, Chapel Hill, et cetera. But because of my niece's schedule, we are doing this today, even though she's in Chicago. So welcome, Jihan Murray Smith, to TV Skywriter.
Yay! Thank you, Aunt Pat, or Miss Murray. Thank you.
You call me Aunt Pat, that's fine. But actually, you are here to talk about a serious subject, and that is etiquette. That is what you do. Do I call you a consultant? Is that?
I am a consultant. I am a lifestyle consultant, and I work with young people in the areas of etiquette, but not only etiquette, public speaking, and job readiness.
Okay. And you actually got your start with a nonprofit with the job readiness, right?
Exactly. My first job out of Fisk University was at a place called Jobs for Youth Chicago. And we trained 17 to 24-year-olds in job readiness skills, and then we would help them to find employment and retain it after they completed the 8-day workshop. So that's how I got my foot into the job readiness piece. But during my time at Fisk, a good friend and I started an organization on campus called White Gloves and Silver Spoons, and we taught etiquette lessons to our peers. So that's how I got started.
Okay, so I'm thinking you're in college, so why did they need to learn etiquette? Did they not arrive ready? With their social skills or what?
The landscape is so different. Mom and dad have to go to work, right? And so everyone is swamped. Kids are in a million activities, so families are no longer having dinner in the dining room the way it was when I was growing up. Every day at 6 o'clock, Mom and Dad and I would gather around the dining room table and talk about the day and have a nice little meal. But now people are having dinner in the car. People were having dinner on their way to a class or an activity. And so when some students arrived at Fisk, they were noticing, oh goodness, I have an interview over a lunch for a potential opportunity for an internship. And so what do? I don't know what to do, Jihan. They noticed that I had some skills in that area. We were noticing that it was a definite need. So my friend Lauren and I partnered with the Office of Career Development, started offering classes to our friends.
Wow. So now that was years ago, and now you are helping, you moved back to Chicago, and now you are helping young people. Is it only young people who you're teaching and mentoring now?
I primarily work with young students in elementary and high school, but we do consult with adults as well who want a bit of polishing up as they move up the corporate ladder and want to be able to navigate in different circles to advance their careers. But we primarily work with children.
Okay, now when it comes to the adult piece, I think that's really needed because a lot of people grow up low income or in what they call housing projects or whatever.
Right.
And they're ambitious, they want to move up, they're ready, but they might not have that training that they need to feel comfortable in a setting where, for example, you arrive at a restaurant and there's more than one fork and more than one spoon, and it's like, whoa, what's this? So you help them with that.
I do help with that, and I find it a lot with adults. I go to a lot of events, a lot of luncheons, and now this is like prime time for fundraising season. So I go to a lot of galas and balls, and I do find more often than not finding adults who may not know which fork belongs to them or grabbing the wrong water glass. And so, of course, you never want to embarrass people, but I do let people know that I do teach that, and I would be more than happy to share those tools with them. Because like you said, as we get older and we look for different opportunities, we may have the degree, the credential to get us in the door, but we need those, what some people call soft skills or social skills, to seal the deal.
Exactly. I have heard from so many people who were invited to lunch or dinner with their boss.
Right.
And they were terrified
Oh,
because they knew they were going to go to a restaurant. If they're like a Wendy's, Bojangles type person, and they're being invited to a fancy restaurant, and they are not looking forward to it.
it can be overwhelming. It really can. And some of these restaurants could be a little snobby, right? It's like, can we breathe? Can we sneeze? Can we laugh? And so, and so, yes, one can be extremely intimidated, especially like you said, if there's more than one fork, more than one glass. And so we really give you the tools and the skills so that you're able to go into any restaurant and be comfortable. It's really about being comfortable. It has nothing to do with elitism. It has nothing to do with, oh, I'm better or I know this and that. It's really about making people feel good no matter where they are and equipping them with the skills so that they're always prepared. That's what it's about, being prepared.
Exactly. And you know, the world does not end if you use your salad fork,
Of course,
cutting meat or whatever. I mean, nobody's going to die.
they
But
are not going to die. It won't be a big deal. Hopefully, the person who has invited you isn't a jerk if you do make the mistake, right? And so, hopefully, people will overlook that. But also, in addition to knowing which fork, is what do we talk about while we're at the table? What's considered appropriate table conversation? So this is not the time to talk about how, someone just got kicked out of the home or your big brother or your sister is having problems in their marriage. This is not the time to spill out all of your family drama. It's really about getting to know the other person and seeing what you guys have in common.
I was told never to discuss politics or religion in polite company.
Oh goodness, and it's pretty hard to resist, right, with all these interesting things happening during this time of campaigning. So I know people are always excited to talk about what's happening in politics, especially here in the U.S. But yeah, people are very passionate about their values, and to keep it neutral and positive, we try to stay away from those topics.
I was told it's always just easier just to say, "Hey, how about those Cubs?" Or whatever.
But guess what, our pet? Believe it or not, as trite as this may sound, people really do talk about the weather a lot. Can you believe that?
I actually do, because they say the Weather Channel is one of the most popular channels ever on cable TV. People love the weather.
Weather.
Love weather. If you don't mind, Jihan, okay, suppose someone is watching us right now and they're saying, well, they mentioned 2 and 3 forks and knives and spoons, but I myself don't really know. Could you give us a hint? Because some people might say, I always wanted to know about that, but never knew who to ask. So give us a quick little lesson on the different knives and forks and spoons you might encounter at a fancy restaurant.
Well, you know what? For those of you who have viewed the classic film Titanic when it came out, Titanic, there's a perfect scene because Jack, if you recall, was from the other side of the tracks, but he fell in love with a beautiful debutante by the name of Rose. And she invited him to have dinner with her and her family because he helped to save her life, quote unquote. And he was absolutely in shock when he sat down at that table, and there had to have been 4 or more forks in front of him. And the golden rule that one of the characters shared with Jack is what I'll share with the viewers. Work your way out, in. Out, in. When you think about what do we have first? The salad, typically, right? You'll have your salad before your steak or your shrimp or chicken. And so your fork for the salad will be on the outside. And then you'll just work your way in. So that's the golden rule.
That's really good to know. Really good to know. And when we're talking about topics of discussion, what's a good way to, a lot of people just kind of sit there and they're hoping that somebody will say something. And like you said, in their awkwardness, they'll blurt out something, I don't want to say stupid, but something, talk about something they really shouldn't talk about. Exactly. So what are polite topics that people can bring up and not create too much controversy and fist fights?
Fist fights? Well, you know what? People love to talk about themselves. And so I find that the best conversations take place when we are really trying to get to know one another. So say you're at a networking event, right? So I'm quite sure in Durham, just like Chicago, any given night, there's some type of networking event taking place at a restaurant, at some place of business where people have an opportunity to meet, exchange business cards, and engage in some dialogue to try to potentially get a job or do some business with each other. So when you're introducing yourself, first of all, maybe you might want to ask, how did you find out about this event? What is it that you do? How did you get involved in that? You want to ask open-ended questions. So those are questions that the response will not be yes or no. You'll get a full blank answer. So, find out about people, but you don't want to ask so many questions where it feels like you're interrogating the person. But, ask a couple of questions like, are you originally from Durham? And if they are, or how long have you resided in Durham? Because not everyone's from Durham or not everyone's from Chicago. So where are you from originally and how long have you been there? Or, oh, I see that you're a lawyer. Okay, how long have you been practicing law? What made you interested? Why did you want to become an attorney? So asking those questions where you get to the heart of why people do what they do is really good.
Excellent advice. And I can imagine people feeling awkward. For example, if you're at a dinner and you're surrounded by people you don't know, the last thing you want to say, like you said, don't make your questions yes or no, make them open-ended, because it's nothing worse than sitting there looking around saying, oh, this is really nice, isn't it?
I know. Cricket.
Yeah, yes it is.
Right, looking around. So you ask open-ended questions, and you don't want to ask too many questions that are personal, like, so do you have children? Oh, that is a huge no-no, because what if I'm unable to have children, due to a medical reason? Now it's a touchy subject. Now I'm upset because my husband and I deeply, desperately want to have a child, but we're unable to conceive. So, you don't want to ask personal questions. I've even seen this, Aunt Pat, where ladies have a little pudge in the mid area and people go, oh my goodness, what are you doing?
Oh no.
Shoot yourself. Oh my gosh, what a disaster. Okay, and the woman is not pregnant. Maybe she's had one too many beers or needs to go to the gym. So, you want to stay away from those comments or questions.
You're definitely right about that, because I remember someone asking about children and the person's child had just died.
Yes.
That's really awkward. Now, my mom, your grandmother, told me of an incident. This is actually very sad, but I'm going to mention it anyway, because sometimes people make observations and should just keep their mouths shut. But there was a person at the table and they noticed some numbers on their wrist and thought it was a clever tattoo.
Okay.
Asked what it was. This person was Jewish. This person had been in a concentration camp, and that was their concentration camp ID number.
Oh my goodness.
Awkward.
Oh my goodness. I was not expecting that, Aunt Pat.
Yeah. So sometimes when you notice things, if you don't know what's going on, sometimes your common sense, or maybe hopefully your spidey sense or whatever, will tell you, don't ask about that, or stay away from that subject, or whatever.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Please stay away. Just, it's best to kind of keep your mouth closed when you think you might say something that's inappropriate. Children are very honest, and they will say and ask anything. So I kind of give young people a pass because, they're young, they're growing and developing and trying to figure out what's appropriate and what isn't, right? Because they're growing up. However, adults, I have experienced so many times where people go, oh, why aren't you married? Well, first of all, how do you know that I'm not married?
My goodness.
Not everyone wears a ring, for one, right? And I just think that is awfully nosy and pushy to be asking another adult why it is you are married. That is so rude.
Wow. Yeah. That is pretty amazingly, well, I wouldn't say, I guess rude is a word, but I would think thoughtless because I don't think they're trying to be mean.
I don't think they're right, exactly. Being a little intrusive. There is just a little too much, I think. Are you married? Oh, how old are you? You don't have children? Well, no, I don't have children. And
Or,
so I just think that when we're moving around in these different circles, especially professionally, we want to avoid getting in too deeply into people's personal lives.
okay, I like your idea though of asking the other person about him or herself. That's really good. And I guess if you don't feel comfortable enough to do that, you can at least, like you said, ask, "How did you hear about
Mhm.
this event?" Or maybe bring up a subject that's related to. For example, if you're at sitting at a table and the event is dealing with, let's say, aging issues, you
Right.
might want to maybe bring up a topic like, "Did you know that there's they've discovered something, in research, something related to the topic."
Exactly.
Bring up something new that happened in your field of expertise or that person's field of expertise, and that might spark an interesting conversation.
Exactly.
And then other people might jump in and it might become a real party.
I know that's the whole goal. You just don't want to sit there awkwardly by yourself and alone because there's some amazing people out there who you can meet who might share similar interests, and you never know that you guys might be able to help each other in the future.
Sure, let me ask you a question about business cards because in Japan, everyone, from what I learned, everyone, even if they're unemployed, they have a business card. Everyone has a business card. And I remember in the olden days in the USA, they used to call them calling cards. Everybody would present their card. Is there a certain etiquette nowadays with presenting your business card? Do you really give them to everyone you meet? Is there a certain time when you should present a business card, or do you ask them if they want your business card?
Yes, I think, well, first, absolutely. There is a certain protocol as it relates to exchanging business cards. So, say I'm meeting you for the very first time. I would not immediately say, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you, Miss Murray. May I please have your card?" I don't know anything about you. I don't know what it is that you do. So, you want to have a little bit of a conversation and then ask, "Oh, well, may I please have your card?" Now, here's the rule with that. You do not want to immediately place it or shove it into your purse, or for gentlemen, your wallet. You want to take a look at it. Take time to actually read the card and make a comment about something that you see on it. So, oh, I see that you are in the Loop, or I don't know what the business district is called in Durham, but I see that you're located here. Or is it, may I reach you via email? This is the best way to contact you. You want to say something about the card before you put it away. And also, like I said, you don't want to ask for it too soon. And if you do want to present your card to someone, always ask, "Well, may I give you my contact information? I'd love to stay in touch." Okay, and you want to make sure that you get their card as well. Now, after you've received the card, say you have gone to the dinner or the networking event, today is Wednesday, it is best to send a follow-up email within 24 hours. We all lead busy lives, we meet people every day, and so you want to make sure that you send that email, that follow-up email saying, "Oh, it was a pleasure to have met you at that networking event, at that luncheon, at the parade," wherever it was that you met the person. You want to mention where you saw them and say something very brief. And if you want to stay in touch, mention that. Perhaps we can get together for coffee soon. Please let me know if you have some availability. Okay, it's short and sweet, maybe one paragraph, but you always want to follow up with people in a very swift fashion.
That is great advice. And I want to add that sometimes you get home and a week later you're going through your purse, whatever, and you look at the business card and, "Who is this?" So it's a good idea to jot down where you met the person on the business card, on the back of the business card too.
But don't jot it down in front of the person.
Right.
Yes, because it's like, "Oh goodness, you're just writing all over my business card that I spent $10 on," right? So, maybe sometimes, because I do go, like I said, I go to a lot of events, And so maybe when I get in that evening, as soon as I sit down and take out all the cards that I've gathered from the evening, I'll write down, okay, met them at the Macy's networking event or met them at the Chamber of Commerce event. Like you said, just so there's a notation of where you met the person, because you'll forget, you really will.
Exactly. Now, I know you're in Chicago, but do you have any events happening? I know that you put on, I think you did a health fair, didn't you, earlier this year?
Yes, it's so important to give back to the community. And I am extremely passionate about health and wellness. As you know, my idol, who is now in heaven, was my great grandfather, your grandfather, Charles Jacob Harris. And so he was the person who inspired me to put on health fairs annually. So we have it every April. So we would love for people to come out, and it's at Messiah St. Bartholomew Episcopal Church in the Avalon Park neighborhood. And as we get closer to that date, perhaps I can come back to share more information about it.
Definitely. Okay. What else do you have happening in Chicago that's a little bit, sooner?
Well, you know what? Holiday season is upon us, and lots of parties and events are taking place. Gifts are being exchanged. And so every fall, I host an Etiquette Luncheon at the historic Walnut Room. Of course, true Chicagoans remember this place when it was at Marshall Field and Company, but now it's Macy's.
It will always be Marshall Field's to me.
I know. Yes, well, the historic Walnut Room, this beautiful restaurant on the 7th floor of Macy's is there, and that's where we'll have the Etiquette Luncheon on Saturday, November 21st, and it's for 5th through 8th graders.
Oh, this is for young people. Oh, okay.
For young people. So they'll enjoy a 3-course meal and etiquette instruction, and they'll have an opportunity to meet other young people from throughout the Chicagoland area. So it's a very lovely time, and people can contact me directly to receive more information about how to get their children involved in that fantastic event. It's a lot of fun.
I think it's really great that you're doing such things because, again, as I was saying, to me, the biggest difference between low-income people and middle to high-income people very often is opportunity and information. And a lot of people are timid about leaving their communities because they don't feel comfortable. They think people who eat it in restaurants and restaurants themselves are stuck up and out of their league, so to speak, and they would rather sometimes denigrate very often, calling people bougie, who go to restaurants and such. While sometimes really wishing that they could move up, but just feeling uncomfortable with it. Having manners, speaking well, knowing what's happening is not something that is relegated to people who are born, for example, in Chatham or in any particular community. You can still keep it real.
Exactly.
Be yourself. And just be gracious and knowledgeable when needed, right?
Absolutely. It's all about exposure. It is all about exposure. And you're right, the way Chicago is designed, and I can't speak to other cities or communities, but the way Chicago is designed, you really don't have to leave your neighborhood for much. And Chicago is humongous, and there are a million things to do, and a lot of things are free. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, like to information. And for your viewers, I would like to tell you that Aunt Pat, while she resided in Chicago for many, many years, she had a newspaper here called the South Side Scoop. Mm-hmm. And so that's another vehicle to get the information out about what's happening in our community so that people can get on the bus or the train, spend $2, $3, and have an opportunity to see something amazing and different, be exposed to something completely new, which is really great in helping us to form who we are as a people, being well-rounded.
Well, thanks for mentioning the South Side Scoop, because the Durham Skywriter pretty much is the South Side Scoop in Durham.
I know.
Although it's evolved to be a website now.
Right.
And I'm just going to leave you with this one story that Mom told me. Mom was a teacher. She taught at Parker Elementary School in Inglewood. And she took some kids and parents out to a restaurant,
Mhm.
and mom went to the restroom, excused herself, went to the restroom, and one of the parents, one of the moms was in there crying her eyes out.
Oh
And mom was like, oh my God, what's wrong? And this mom said that she had always wanted to go to a real restaurant.
no!
She
Oh
was so moved and so excited that she couldn't take it. She just had to go to the restroom and just cry. She was so happy to
wow!
finally go to a real restaurant. It's a
Isn't
big
that
deal.
something? That's a beautiful story. Yes. I mean, I have taught, especially that's so moving because I was an adult who had that type of reaction. But I see the same reaction with the young people that I work with. They are so excited. I mean, they can't stop looking around. And you know, Macy's is in downtown Chicago, so you have all these skyscrapers surrounding you, and they're just in total amazement to see something that looks completely different from where they live. And where they live could just be 15, 20 minutes away, right? So that's the amazing part.
Wonderful. Now, how can people get in contact with you, Jihan? Because I would like to see you branch out and do online etiquette teaching. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, that's the plan for the future. We're hoping to do more things online this spring, but people can absolutely reach out to me. Our website is www.teaandcrumpetschgo.com, and everything else is spelled out. And I know you'll have that on the screen for your viewers once we wrap up. And they're more than welcome to contact me. All of my contact information is on the website.
Wonderful. And I want to make some videos with you where you can give us pointers so that we can go to, hopefully. Oh, do you have a Tea and Crumpets YouTube channel yet?
I do not have a YouTube channel yet, but I have a lot of videos. If you type my name into YouTube with some great cooking tips, we just have a lot of fun. So yes, that'll be in the works, creating a Tea and Crumpets YouTube page very soon.
I can help you with that.
Thank you.
And I'm so proud of you. I just can't stop grinning. I'm so happy to finally interview you, Jihan.
Thank you. And I hope to be able to come to Durham and maybe we could have a big etiquette workshop down there.
That would be awesome.
Plan it for the summer of 2016. Maybe partner with a local restaurant, owned by a family, and we can invite people to come out to learn some etiquette tips. So we will be happy to come to Durham, our other home.
I will help set that up. I will
Thank
work
you.
on it immediately. Thanks again, Jihan.
Thank you so much for letting me come on.
Absolutely. Okay, folks, that was my niece, Jihan Murray Smith, here on TV Skywriter. Now, even though this is my weekday show, I usually talk to people who are in the area, but I make, of course, an exception for my niece. So usually my show is on Sundays, my regular edition of TV Skywriter. I don't care where you live. If you're a musician, you're an artist, you're an entrepreneur, you have something to say, you can be on either show. Just write to me, Durham Skywriter at gmail.com. I can't wait to hear from you. And with that, I'm Patricia A. Murray signing off. See you later, Jihan. My voice crack. See you later, Jihan.
Hi, thank you so much.
Any shout outs like to your mom and dad, for example?
Of course, I'd like to say a special hello to Mommy and Daddy, Alita Cookie Murray, and Donald Smith.
There you go. And with that, I bid you adieu, and I'll see you later. Ciao for now.
Au revoir.